Hello, crafty people. I made a rookie mistake. I had my backing fabric cut to the measurements of my quilt top before I added this nice border. But I have a couple options. So this is the situation. Let me get my scaled down paper model. Okay, so this is my backing fabric, okay? I've got 108 inches by 72 inches, and what I need is an 85-inch square. So originally, I thought I could just cut off the excess from this side and sew it on the bottom. And I'll show you why that's not going to work. My handy measurements right here. Okay, so that's approximately the 85-inch mark. And if I add it to the side, you'll see that I'm still going to be short in this corner. That means if I don't want to buy a whole new piece of backing fabric, I'm going to need to Frankenstein my backing. So instead, I'm going to remove the excess and then cut my fabric about here and insert a piece strip made up of the fabric scraps from the quilt top. And again, this really isn't my ideal fabric to be doing this with. When I picked out the fabric, I was going for contrast and visual interest, blah, 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 you know? And I wasn't really worried about matching it cohesively with the quilt top. So we'll see what happens. I gotta say, that didn't help at all. I have no idea. The good news is there's a lot of stuff to work with, but I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Do I want to do something structured? Do I want to just piece large pieces together? Do I want to use up all these tiny little crumb pieces? I don't know. I know that my mom doesn't like improv very much. But I also don't want to do a bunch of tiny quilt blocks on the back. It might be fun to do something a little less structured on the back since the front is, like, you know, very well designed. I don't know. It's a lot of options. A lot of scraps. I think I'm going to sleep on it and then let it percolate, and I'll see what I come up with tomorrow. I've brought just a little bit of order to this chaos, and I officially have a plan. I was originally thinking about making some of the blocks from the quilt top, but the more I thought about it, the more I disliked the idea, because I don't want this little insert to compete with the quilt top. I want it to complement the quilt top. Plus, that would be a lot of extra work. I'm going to give my scraps a quick press, and then I'll start cutting, and then after that, I can show you what I'm planning. I didn't have enough of this color, so you'll see I patched it together, and then I'm going to cut it into the appropriate sizes. There we go. You can hardly even tell. I've cut all my scraps into two by 12-inch strips, with a couple exceptions. This one here is 4 by 12 inches, and there's only one strip. And then there are a couple lighter fabrics that I didn't have enough left over to make 2 strips. But it'll work out. It'll probably work out. So here's the plan. This strip here will be at the very center of my panel, and then working out both ways, I'm going to have a subtle gradient from dark to light. And it'll look a little bit like this. And so on. You get the picture. So now my favorite part, I finally get to do some sewing. do a quick finger press away from the center. And then move on to my next piece. I'll do all my pressing with I'll press with an iron after everything is done. Okay, my machine is making a weird noise. Listen to this. I have no idea what's wrong. Time to troubleshoot. I'm gonna change my needle, and I'm also going to, well, first I'm gonna turn my machine off and on again. If that doesn't work, I'll change my needle, and if that doesn't work, I'll unscrew this puppy and look what's going on inside there. Okay, I rethreaded my machine and I turned it off and on again. Let's see if this works. Ah, much better. Okay. It's much better. I don't have to unscrew anything. I'm so thankful. It's always daunting. Looks good. I'm done sewing my strips, but my panel isn't quite done yet. It is about the width of my quilt top, but it's not the width of the backing, which is about 85 inches. So I need to add a little bit of buffer to the edges, but I'm going to do it tomorrow because I am tired. It's been exactly 1 whole month since I last touched this project. So my family got sick, then I got sick, then I was just like way too tired to do anything but the absolute bare minimum. There was a lot of brain fog. I still haven't gotten my sense of smell back. I can't believe how far behind I am on this quilt. Anyway, let's move on. I assembled these little buffer pieces out of yet more scraps. I just picked whatever pieces needed the least amount of cutting and sewing. Because remember, most of this is going to be excess that won't end up in my quilt. And the reason I want plenty of excess backing is because it makes it easier to quilt all the way to the edges on my quilting frame. I feel like this piece strip isn't playing very well with my backing fabric because these colors are much more muted and understated, and these ones are much more, rich and bright. So I'm going to add this white strip here to sort of bridge the gap between the two different pieces. I think that's a lot more harmonious. So just as an example, no bridge, bridge, no bridge, bridge. I'm going to give this a quick press, and then I'm going to insert it into my main fabric panel. Okay, now I need to get my pieced panel centered up with my main fabric panel. And to do that, I know this is my very center piece, so I'm just going to fold that piece in half and make a mark. Just going to make a little crease right here. You could also mark it with a pen or a pencil. A pin as in like a stabby pin, not like a righty pin. And I'm going to do the same thing with my backing fabric. Okay, I marked my backing with this sew line pencil because I was having a hard time seeing the crease. And now, because I'm lazy, I'm going to match those up, and I'm just going to use one clip. there's my crease here, my mark there. I'm going to use just one clip. So I'm going to sew from the middle out this way to the end, and then I'm going to flip it over and sew from the middle out the other way. And then I only need one clip. Okay, we're almost done. I'm going to go ahead and sew this off camera, and then we can just skip to the end. Okay, I forgot to film the finished pieced backing before I started basting my quilt. So I'll show you a little video of the backing after it's been basted, so just ignore the basting thread. And come back in a couple days to see me attempt to demonstrate how I baste large quilts without breaking my back and without special tools. I used to baste quilts by laying them out on the floor, but it killed my back and it also limited the size of my quilts. So I had to find a better way to baste, and I didn't want to buy a bunch of tools to do it. If you liked this video, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.